welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Shauna, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Hit the little bell so that you know when my next video will come out. Now, this video, I wanted to tell you about my experience with our very first homeschool evaluation, because technically this last year was the first year that we had to officially register the kids with the school district to let them know that we were homeschooling. And I was very nervous because I feel like it's just this big thing that we're going to have to do, and there's going to be so much paperwork and so much red tape, and people were going to be leering at us and, bombarding us with questions. And it was really the most uneventful thing I've probably ever done in my life. So before I get into it, I am going to go over such a brief and basic explanation of what we have to do here in Florida. So please, please, please do not just take what I say and if you're starting out homeschooling and apply that to what you're doing. Please go on to whatever your state's Department of Education website is and look for the specific homeschooling rules in your state, even if it's Florida, because I don't want to say anything wrong and point somebody in the wrong direction, because again, I'm going to be very brief. As I said before, we are in Florida. Florida is a very homeschool friendly state. The rules are not hard to follow, and you have to officially register your child according to their age. So for Florida, I had to register them because they turned 6 at a specific time. So we registered them last year, and last year was our first full official, homeschool year. But again, it was so uneventful. I just basically had to write a letter to the school district and say, this is my name, these are my children's name that I'm going to be homeschooling, here's the grade that they're going to be in, I think their date of birth and their age or something like that, my address, sign the letter, send it in. That was it. I got a confirmation letter saying they received it and that my children are now enrolled in my homeschooling program. That was it. I file those papers so that I have proof that they know my children are being homeschooled, and then we're on our own. That was it, the whole year. Nobody checked in on us. We don't have to keep attendance logs. We don't have to have a certain amount of hours dedicated to school during the day or even during the year. So I really like that about Florida, because I know some states do have rules where you have to do a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of days. And that's hard as a homeschooling family, because each day you're learning. And I feel like if you ask me, I would say we homeschool 365 days a year. So I'm just glad that we don't have that particular rule. So at the end of the year is when I have to do something. I have to find a certified teacher, a certified Florida teacher, which, there's a ton of them. And they do an evaluation for our homeschooling year. I chose the lady that we chose. It was in a homeschooling Facebook group that I'm a part of, and she put her business card up, and I just really liked her invitation and what she wanted you to present as the parent, and I just thought she was very put together for doing the evaluation. So we chose her, and I set a date, and then she said she would give me a call. So it's not in person. It could be, but this evaluation was not in person. And what she wanted me to provide her before we spoke on the phone was some samples of their work that just showed a progression. I did not have to give her an entire workbook. I did not have to give her samples of everything that we've done. I think I want to say I took maybe a snapshot of maybe 5 or 6 pages from our language arts book and 5 or 6 pages from our math book, and then like a page from our cursive book that we had done. And then she also asked me to send her like a list of what we did extracurricular or what else we did that I would consider school. So I sent her a bunch of pictures of us on all of the hikes that we did, the different states that we visited, the museums we went to, different projects we did together as a family, like little science experiments or art that we did. every month my children go over to my mom's house for like a craft and baking day. So we have pictures from that. And then I sent her a book list. So I sent her a list of all the read aloud books that we did. And then I also sent her a book list of like the picture books that we read all the time. So I used Sarah Mackenzie's reading lists for her monthly picture books. And so I just sent that in. It was super easy. I don't even think I had to do all that. I did way more than I needed to. She was asking for just a handful of things, and I gave her like a boat full because I was just like, I don't know what to pick, so let me just give all of this to her. And then I think I wrote down there that we did tea time and that we did, the sports that they did, so that my son played baseball. They all did ice skating lessons. The girls did dance. Just showing that we were getting out in the world. They went to their Sunday school classes. They did Awana. They did all of these other things in the community. So I just kind of typed up that list. I sent her some pictures, and she looked that over. She gave me a call, and I was really nervous before she called, but it was so awesome. She was an awesome evaluator. I think she said she has 8 children. I think she has 8 children. 2 of them went through public school, 6 she homeschooled. And so she was a really great resource to talk to. And she didn't quiz me. She didn't say, well, what curriculum are you using? How old are they? Do they know how to read? She didn't ask any of that. It was basically, how are you doing? What did you learn as a parent? What were your expectations? Do you feel like you met them? What were your goals? And I really liked that because, again, when you're homeschooling, it's hard to really say, it's really hard to judge grade level because we're teaching from a place of what is the maturity of your child? What is their learning style? So my goal for each child was different. My goal as a family was not so much about curriculum, but it was about us being together as a family and loving learning and enjoy learning what this process is going to be. And she asked me just a couple things that didn't go as planned, or how I'm going to set myself up for next year. It was really fun talking to her. And I kind of felt like we were just friends talking about homeschooling. She loved talking about homeschooling as much as I did. So I probably could have talked to her forever. And then she wanted to talk to the kids. So I brought them in one at a time. And again, she did not quiz them. She didn't say, what's 2 + 2? Read me a sentence. What's a verb? What is the capital of Florida? It was actually really cute. So my daughter came in first and she said, what is a book that you really enjoyed reading together this year? My daughter said, Because of Winn-Dixie. And she said, okay, well, what was your favorite part? Why do you pick that book? And my daughter said, because there's a witch in it. And I was like, it's not a witch, it's about a dog. I'm like, great. And I could hear she was silent for a second too. And then I realized, no, there's that lady that the little boys kind of make fun of. They think she's a witch because she lives in this dark house and there's all these plants around her and they think that she's a witch in the book. And I was like, that's what she's talking about. I'm like, okay, so you are getting the right book. So she said that, and then she asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm thinking, I've never asked her this. I'm interested to see what her answer is. And so she said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my daughter so sweetly said, a mommy. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet, because I feel like there's days I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. I feel like I'm snapping at them. I feel like I'm just being unkind, as a parent to 2 sets of little twins. And some days I feel like I'm always on the verge of like a short fuse. And I always have to really, really focus on breathing. And I don't know, sometimes I just wonder, do they even like being around me? This is such a terrible experience for them. And for her to say that she wants to be a mommy when she grows up, it just kind of melted my heart, And so she asked her a couple other questions like that. Again, not quiz questions, just what do you love to do? And she asked her about asked her about ice skating and her favorite animals, and just had a chat with her. And she let me know later that she just had to chat with them to sign off basically that the child was there in the house, capable of speaking, basically. And then my son came in and she asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said a storm chaser, which is not surprising to me because he is obsessed with tornadoes. And he was so sweet. He was all, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, ma'am, and all of these things. It was really cute. And she asked what his favorite book was, and he liked The Wizard of Oz because it has a tornado in the beginning. And it was just really cute hearing him answer these questions from somebody else. And she asked what his favorite subject was, and he said math. And she said, oh, well, what do you love about math? And he said, everything. And she said, well, was there anything difficult for you in math? What was difficult? And he was really quiet, and he was thinking and thinking. And then she goes, well, if you loved it, maybe there wasn't anything difficult. And he said, no, there wasn't anything difficult. And so she said, what was most difficult for you in everything that you did? And he said reading. And I think he said that because he knows he's not as strong of a reader as my daughter. So he compares himself, which I try very hard to not let them do, because they're both doing so well. They're just at different levels. But being twins, being the same age, I know that they might look at each other and say, well, she's doing that, so she must be better. So he said reading was harder for him. And it's funny because my daughter, when she asked her, she said, what was your favorite thing to do? My daughter said, reading. And then she said, what was the hardest thing for you? And she said, math. So they were complete opposites. So then she talked to them maybe 15 minutes each. And then they went off and played. And then she chatted with me. She just wanted to know if I had any other questions. She wanted to make sure I had like a support group. Do I know other homeschool parents? Am I a part of any co-ops? Or do I just basically know where I could go if I had questions? And she, of course, offered herself. She said, let me know if you ever need anything. I'm here for you. She was so supportive. And I really felt that she cared, not just about were my kids learning particular curriculum, but were we enjoying homeschooling? And I loved that so much, because if we are enjoying what we are doing, then we are exactly where we need to be. And of course, not every day is going to be joyful. I am very aware that some days I'm going to want to rip my hair out. But we're still learning. But if you overall have a joy for homeschooling, then you are headed in the right direction. Basically, it's what I'm trying to say. So that was it. That was our evaluation for my first official year of homeschooling. After that, she basically fills out this little form which has my kid's name on it, their birth date, and checks a box that she did an evaluation. She emails that to me. I print it off for each kid. And then I also print off her teacher certification proof, put that together in a priority envelope, mail it away, requesting a signature so I know that it was received, and that's it. And then I'm good for the next year, and I will do the same thing next year. I have some plans of keeping a little bit better organized for our evaluation, because I feel like I did everything so last minute this year. But it wasn't hard because we're talking about like kindergarten. So next year I'll probably do something a little bit more, something that will help me be a little bit more organized. But again, it's going to be the same thing. Let me see a couple things that's showing progression, and what else are you doing for education? That's it. So I hope that was helpful for you. Again, please subscribe, please like this video, and tune in next time, and I'll see you later. Bye.